We're going to start today's lesson with an exercise where I show you a color on the screen. So you should see blue right now. And you think of emotions or feelings that this color reminds you of or gives you. And I'll show you some words of feelings that the color reminds me of. Yours might be different than mine because every artist gets their own feeling from colors. When I see blue, I think of cool. I feel cool when I see blue. I also might feel a little sad. Some people might think of blue and feel happy. What about green? Green might give me a feeling of feeling sick. When you're green in the face, you kind of feel sick. Or maybe the feeling of jealousy, like you want something that somebody else has. And green sometimes give me the feeling of refreshness because it reminds me of spring. What about this color? What kind of feelings come up for you when you see this color? Well, for me, I feel playful, I feel worry-free, and happy. This dark purple gives me the feeling of mysteriousness, maybe a little sadness, and kind of sleepy. Ooh, this red color reminds me of feeling angry, energetic. It might also remind me of feeling afraid. This yellow color makes me feel excited, fun, and happy. Remember, colors might give you a different feeling than the ones that these gave me. Our unit this week is called We Belong Together, People in Art. When you make a picture of yourself, it is called a self-portrait. This is a self-portrait that I painted. Take two. When you make a picture of yourself, it's called a self-portrait. This is a self-portrait of me. Artists often make self-portraits to express how they feel and who they are. When we look at portraits, I want us to think of these questions. What kind of impression do we get from the person in the portrait? Well, judging by his clothing and the way he's standing, he looks very important. What is the person's facial expression? Well, he's looking straight at the painter. He's not smiling or frowning, so he looks kind of serious. And then what mood do the colors create for the viewer? There's not a lot of colors in this painting, so it looks very straightforward. It looks, like I said, serious, and not a lot of action happening. This is a self-portrait by an artist named Yu Mi-jun, and I can tell that he is having a really good time with a lot of characters that look like him. So he looks like he's laughing with himself. There's a lot of bright colors, like bright pinks. There's a little peak of blue in the background. Here's what the artist actually looked like. Today, your assignment is to draw 4 self-portraits that express different moods with color. So you'll take a piece of paper and divide it into 4 parts. Look in the mirror and make facial expressions that match how you might feel. And use colors that remind you of the mood or feeling in your portrait. For the materials you'll need are paper, crayons, or markers. And I'll show you how I did this assignment. I'm going to start by drawing lines that divide my paper up into 4 parts because I'll be doing 4 self-portraits. I like to use a U shape for the head. For each portrait, draw a facial expression to show a feeling. It helped me to look in a mirror to get a good idea of the lines and shapes that I would draw for each expression or feeling. I paid close attention to my lips, my eyes, and eyebrows. Take your time on your work. I'm going to fast forward my video and see if you can guess which emotion I draw for each of my portraits. When you're ready to add color, choose colors that remind you of each feeling. I'm choosing different pinks and reds for the happy expression. Notice how I created a shadow by using a darker shade of pink for a few areas in my portrait? And remember to fill in your background so that each little portrait looks complete. I ended up using a combination of blues and purples for my sad picture. You're the artist, you get to decide what works best for yours. The yellows that I found for the last picture didn't give me enough variety that I wanted, so I ended up using some orange to make shadows for my portrait. And I mixed the colors right on my paper. Take a look at how I did that. On one side of my face, I just colored it in with a little bit of orange. For the background of this one, I decided to do a little experimenting, and I found a really light green, and I decided to go over the green with a layer of yellow and see what kind of color I made up. Today I drew 4 self-portraits, each showing a different emotion, using different colors. I can't wait to see what your artwork will look like. Please make sure you take a picture of your finished work and share it with me on Seesaw.